Advanced English noun phrases. What are they? In this sentence, the Gulf was blocked by boats. Boats is a noun. What about this sentence, though? The beginning is the same, but the word boats has been replaced with a longer phrase of about 20 words, with boats in the middle. Believe it or not, this is also a noun. How can this be? It's because it's an advanced English noun phrase. And if you're going to speak English at an expert level, C2, IELTS 9, you need to be able to use noun phrases fluently and accurately. And this video is going to help you. First, the main noun, which is boats. We sometimes call this the head. But you'll notice there are some words before boats. Starting with advanced. Advanced is an adjective, and it's common to expand the noun phrase by adding an adjective before the noun. This describes the noun more. It's far more complex than this, though. Instead of using an adjective, we could use a number of other alternatives just before the main noun. Firstly, we could use what's called a closed compound. This is where we add another noun and we attach it to the main noun, so it becomes one new word, such as sailboat, a boat which has a sail. We can also have hyphenated compounds, where again we add another word, another noun, and this time we join them together with a hyphen, such as boat builder. We could have an open compound. Again, we add another noun, but this time the words stay separate, boat trip. How do we know if it's closed, hyphenated or open? You have to learn them all individually as vocabulary. There are more options still. You could have a possessive noun, Peter's boat, or you could have a participle, which is where you take a verb and you make the activity of a verb a noun by adding ing. A sinking boat means a boat which is sinking. It's going down. But sinking here is used in the same way as an adjective. And you can have double adjectives too. A red and white boat. Two adjectives, red, white, joined with and. Now, there were other words that came before the adjective too. And here I've highlighted largest and most. And these are other describing words which we call superlatives. Superlatives is where you have a number of things and you identify the highest or the number one in a particular category. Here we're looking at not just any boats, but the largest boats. Or we attach most to advanced to make it the number one advanced boat possible. And in this way, we're expanding our noun phrase further. Let's go back further still and look at the. The is a type of article, and that belongs to a group of words called determiners. And determiners can go before adjectives to expand the noun phrase even more. Which determiners can we use then? We can use articles such as a, an or the, as we have here, the boat. We can use quantifiers, several boats, cardinals and ordinals. Cardinals 1, 2, 3, 4, ordinals first, second, third, fourth, and so on. Distributives such as each and every, possessives, her, his, my, your, and demonstratives, this, that, these, those. All of these words can be used before the adjective, before the main noun, to tell us more about the noun phrase. Determiners tell us about the quantity, how definite something is, or possession. Notice that we've got words even further back than the determiners. What are these? What can come before a determiner? Almost all. In this case, it's something called a predeterminer. And now, to reach a really advanced level of using noun phrases, we need to understand the difference between a predeterminer, determiner, and postdeterminer and how they fit together. Let's do that now. starting with the predeterminers. Predeterminers come before determiners. They tell us more about the determiners. These could be quantifiers such as all, so all boats, and it could be adverb modification before that still, almost all boats. So we're building up a bigger picture of what we mean by all here. We can have main determiners after the predeterminer. So look at how I've used the predeterminer before the main determiner here. With the articles, all the boats, so we have predeterminer, then main determiner, then the noun. With possessives, all my boats, and demonstratives, all these boats. And we need to follow this strict order when we add determiners. Note that if we have the predeterminer without the main determiner, then the predeterminer becomes the main determiner. And we also have postdeterminers. These can be the cardinals, the ordinals, or the quantifiers. All my 3 boats. The first boats. All my many boats. Predeterminers, main determiners, postdeterminers. Make sure you follow that order if you're using determiners at the start of a noun. Here's a few more things to be aware of. All, both, half, double, and twice are common predeterminers. But notice that all and both can be main determiners too, as we saw in the examples in the previous pages. With main determiners, each, every, some, any, and no are quantifiers that act as main determiners as well. They would not be predeterminers for a main determiner. They are quantifiers that belong to the main determiners category. If you use them, there is no predeterminer before them. And quantifiers that go as postdeterminers, many, several, and few. Main determiners can combine with a predeterminer, postdeterminer, both, or neither. There's flexibility about whether you have a predeterminer or whether you have a postdeterminer, whether you use both of them individually or neither. But the important thing is, if you do use them, make sure you follow this order. Okay, we've looked at the words before the main noun. Now let's look at the words after. And we come to this, in the Iranian Navy. And this is called a preposition phrase or prepositional phrase. What does that mean? It's a short phrase that starts with a preposition and then has another noun phrase included within it. In the Iranian Navy. The is our determiner, Iranian is the adjective, and Navy is the noun. It's a phrase within our noun phrase. But we can add these within noun phrases after the main noun, after the head noun. With prepositional phrases, be aware that they are always after the head noun. And they can be recurring. That means you can have more than one preposition phrase after the other. Look at this. Boats in the Gulf of Mexico with a flag flying from their masts. 4 preposition phrases. In the Gulf of Mexico with a flag flying from their masts. So you can stack up prepositions, and this is how some noun phrases get really long. It's correct to use prepositions in this way. Be aware though, if you use too many, you can lose the meaning of what you're saying because it becomes harder to retrieve what the main noun actually is. So yes, use them, but be careful not to go too far. The last part of our noun phrase is that hadn't been damaged. And this is an example of a relative clause. And I have other videos, I will include a link in the video description to them, that cover relative clauses in more detail because they deserve a video all of their own. But there are some other things that you can do after the head noun which also modify the noun. They're not included here. They include phrases such as these. A phrase that includes a participle in front of a preposition phrase. Boats sailing in the sea. Here, sailing is a participle from the verb to sail. And here it comes after the noun. Here it's because we're interested in the activity that's going on. In reality, it's a shortened relative clause. What it really means is boats which are sailing in the sea. But watch the video that I've put in the link to learn more about how you form relative clauses and how you can leave some words out. Also, infinitive phrases. Boats to transport goods. So here we have the purpose of the boats. And we use an infinitive phrase, to plus verb infinitive, to create our full noun phrase. And we can have what we call post-nominal adjectives. Boats ready for use. This is similar to the infinitive phrase, where something comes after to tell us about the purpose of the noun. But here we're using an adjective, boats ready for use. Again, in reality, it's a shortened relative clause. Expanded, it means boats which are ready for use, or boats that are ready for use. You can find out so much more about advanced English and every level of English through my Perfect English Grammar course on Udemy, which has 40 hours of teaching from me with hundreds of lessons, thousands of grammar points, and now AI-powered role plays where you can practice speaking using the role play facility with an AI robot who will reply to you. It doesn't replace a real teacher. You'll see a lot of me on the course, but it gives you an opportunity to practice in real time for no extra cost over a range of grammar points. There's a link in the description of this video to that course if you want to learn more.